Today we're going to be talking about word problems. How many of you in the past have learned to look for key words in a word problem? Forget that. That is horrible advice.
What's bad?
It is maybe helpful in first and second grade, but in real life, it is not helpful. Because you never really know what people are going to use for their words. You have to be able to interpret, figure out what the question is asking by using your math brain. So we are not using key words at all. That means if you see the word total, you should add. I am telling you that. So next to word problems, I want you to write no key words. So a lot of friends have been taught if you see the word total, that means to add. And that might be true sometimes, but that is not true all the time. And I am not going to teach you something that is not going to work all the time. Sometimes. Alright, so there are a couple of steps to solving a word problem. You will need to write down the steps. Step number 1, we need to figure out your unit and write an answer sentence. Obviously, before step number 1, you should probably read the problem. But after you read the problem, you need to figure out your unit. You're writing this down, Hunter, and write an answer sentence. This word unit. Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say unit? Nick, you know what that means? Kinda, Lily Marie. Not the type of math that I'm doing. What do you think, Billy?
Like addition is one type of unit of math, and subtraction.
That's going to be one operation of math. A unit is just a fancy way of saying what you are counting. What you are counting. So your unit is just what it is that you're counting in your problem. Maybe you're counting puppies. You should be writing. Maybe you are counting flowers. Maybe you are counting cookies. But you have to figure out what you are counting before you can start doing math. And that makes sense, right? Think about real life. I have to figure out what it is that I'm working with before I can just start adding and subtracting and doing things all together. Alright, once we have figured out what it is that we're counting and we've prepared an answer sentence, our next step is to use the bar model to figure out my equation. This is the part where I figure out, am I going to be adding? Am I going to be subtracting? Am I going to be multiplying? Am I going to be dividing? What in the world is it that I am going to be doing? And I've told you that bar model is a fantastic way to figure out what math to use. So please get writing. A bar model will not help you actually solve a problem, but it'll help tell you what math you need to solve that problem. So now we figured out what it is that we're counting. We have made our bar model and we have figured out what math we're going to use for this equation. Step 3, use whatever math strategy works for you to solve the equation. So if it turned out to be a multiplication problem that we're solving, and you like to use circles and dots, use circles and dots. If it turned out to be an addition problem, and you want to use break apart, use break apart. Whatever math strategy works for your brain. So what William uses might be different than what Kylie uses to solve the problem, and that's fine. This is where you get some choice and freedom to decide what works best for my brain. So now that we've got our problem solved, we did whatever math works for us, our last step is to fill in your answer sentence and make sure it makes sense. So if I'm counting puppies, and I had 3 groups of 2 puppies, but somehow my answer was 100, would that make sense in that problem?
No.
Probably not. So you need to make sure that once you have solved the problem, you go back and fill in that answer sentence and make sure that that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and start handing out some word problems. You need to cut them apart. We've talked about how to put them in our notebook before. One at the top, one at the middle. So that way you have room underneath to work them out. Does that make sense? Once you've gotten these notes down, go ahead and glue in your word problem. Alright, number 1 looks like this. A little bit longer. I'm going to read it to you. It says, Leah and her brother Madden made 18 cookies on Friday afternoon. Their mom made them split the cookies equally. How many cookies did Leah get to eat? I wrote Leah get to eat. And how many cookies did Madden get to eat? There are 2 questions in this math problem, which means you need 2 answer sentences. Go ahead and write 2 answer sentences underneath this word problem. If you need help, all you gotta do is look at the 2 questions and flip them around, restate them with a spot to put our answer. Okay, someone raised their hand. What are we counting for this problem? What is our unit? What is it that we are counting? Mason?
We are counting how many cookies.
We are counting cookies. That is our unit. We're counting cookies. What's going to be our answer sentence? What could be our answer sentence? Dorian?
We got 8 cookies.
Perfect. We have Leah 8 blank cookies, and we have Madden 8 blank cookies. I know that I am counting cookies because look, there's my unit. What? That's fine. That's fine. Any variation doesn't have to be this exact sentence. Alright, so do we know what our unit is? Do we know what our answer sentence is going to be?
Yes.
What's step number 2? What's step number 2? Ashlyn?
How many?
Definitely not. What is step number 2? Barrett? Use a bar model to figure out our equation. Draw our bar model. Should not take up the entire space. We know that our whole bar is always equal to what? What? The whole, or our total. What is it that we are counting again? What is our unit, Lainey? Cookies. Do I know my whole, or my total amount of cookies? Look in your problem, read it again. Do I know the total amount of cookies? Hunter. 9 is not the total amount of cookies. No. William? 18. They made 18 cookies. So my whole is going to be 18. So I know that my total is 18. What else do I know? Because I know some other things. What else do I know? Gio? I don't have that in my story, look at your problem. What do I know from my story? Okay?
You know how many cookies? Yeah, 9 cookies. So you have to divide 9 cookies.
Okay? I see this sentence right here. Their mom made them split the cookies equally. That tells me that I need to make 2 groups, right? One for Leah and one for Madden. So I'm going to split my bar in half. I'm going to have a Leah group and a Madden group. Do I know how much Leah got? Nope. Question mark. Do I know how much Madden got? No. Question mark. What kind of an equation can I make to solve this problem? This is a little trickier. Mason, what do you think?
So if 10 plus 9 equals 19, we just have to take away 1. 9 plus 9 is 8.
That is not an equation that I can use to solve because the only number I have on my bar model is 18.
That's what I was going to say.
Dorian, do you know what kind of equation I can make?
18 minus 9 equals 3.
Okay, so I could say 18 subtract one of my parts equals my other part. So we have whole minus part equals part. That will work, but I have too many unknown boxes, right? Do you know what 18 minus box is?
No.
No, me neither. Me neither. Knock it off or you're going to be in the hallway. What could I do? What's going to be my equation? Lainey, what do you think? Okay, so box plus box. Is that going to really help me out? No, I still have too many boxes. Another equation I could come up with. Billy? 18 whole divided by how many groups do I have? I have 2 groups equals my boxes. Can I do 18 divided by 2?
Yes.
Yes. Can I make this a multiplication equation?
Yes.
What could be my multiplication equation? Think about whole and part and part. The answer is not on my face, but staring at me. Ashlyn?
2 times 18.
2 times box equals 18. You should have these 2 equations written. Once we have an equation, now you need to do some math. I don't care what math you do. If you want to do dealing out for division, that's fine. If you want to do your 2's for multiplication, that's fine. Use a math strategy to solve either one of those equations. If I were you, I would use my division equation. I have 18 as my whole, and I already have 2 boxes set up to deal out. So I'm going to go ahead and start dealing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Each of my groups have an equal number. I have divided fairly. What is my box? What is my box? Only 2 people know? Yikes. What is my box? Jim? 9. Last step to solving a word problem is to do what? Fill in my answer sentence. Leah ate 9 cookies and Madden ate 9 cookies. Does that make sense? Yes. Do you know what would not make sense? Leah ate 18 cookies and Madden ate 18 cookies. That wouldn't make sense because there's only 18 cookies. They can't both eat 18 cookies. Exactly. So if our problem makes sense, we fill in our answer sentence, then we have likely solved this problem correctly. Mason, what's up? Question 2. Find question 2. Carol runs 5 miles every day of the week, but Friday. How many miles does Carol run in 1 week? What am I counting? What am I counting? Not a trick question. What am I counting? Barrett, what am I counting? I'm counting miles. Go ahead and write your answer sentence. What could you have written? Not a trick question. Mason, what could I have written?
Coral ran blank miles every day, not Friday.
No.
Coral ran blank miles.
No. Grayson, what do you think?
Coral runs blank miles.
No. You're being lazy on me. Rhea.
Coral ran blank miles in 1 week except Friday.
Fair enough. Close enough. It is Carol, but that's not what I'm concerned about. Carol ran blank miles. This is where you guys got lazy. In 1 week. You didn't write the last part. That part is important. Is it 1 week? Is it in 800 weeks? That's going to be a completely different number. Make sure that you have the in 1 week piece. Do not be lazy in your math. Don't be lazy. Alright, step number 2 is what? Come on. Step number 2. William? Yes, get a bar model. Draw a bar model on your paper. Alright, I got my bar model. I'm counting what?
5.
What am I counting? That's not an odd thing to count. Okay, what am I counting? I'm counting miles. Do I know the total amount of miles? No, I do not. That is a question mark. What do I know? Think about the problem. What do I know? What do I know? Not a trick question. Look at the problem. Really, what do I know? She ran 5 miles every day of the week. So let's make a Monday box. There's Monday. Did she run 5 miles on Monday?
Yes.
Yes. What's another day of the week? Tuesday. Make a Tuesday box. Did she run 5 miles on Tuesday? Yeah. What about Wednesday?
Yes.
Yep. What about on Thursday? What about on Friday? No. What about on Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah. What about on Sunday?
Yes.
Yes. If we did every single day of the week except Friday, we should have 6 days of the week, right? There's 7 typically, but we're not doing Friday, so now we're only doing 6. We made our bar model. What kind of an equation can I make from this bar model? What kind of an equation? Kylie? 5 times, keep going, equals box. Or you could write 6 times 5, 6 groups of 5. Can I write a division equation? Ashley, you want to try and write a division equation?
6
Box, good.
divided by 6 equals 5.
If you Beautiful. Which equation is going to be most helpful to me? Which equation is going to be helpful? Okay.
5 times 6.
Yeah, 5 times 6 is very helpful to me. I'm going to use that equation. Now that I have an equation, use whatever math strategy works for you to figure out what is 5 times 6. Maybe you skip count. Maybe you use break apart. Maybe you do circles and dots. I don't know.
Okay, let's come on to math.
All right, what kind of miles was Carol running? How many miles did she run in 1 week? Bria?
30.
She ran 30 miles. 5 times 6 is 30. Last step is to fill in our answer sentence. If we're multiplying, is our answer going to get bigger or smaller? Bigger. We started out with 5 miles one day and we ended up with 30 miles in a week. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. You know what would not make sense? If our answer was 4. Does that make sense? No. No. All right, we got one more that we're going to do together. Question number 3. It's our last one we're going to do together. Last one we're going to do together. All right. Question number 3. To score a touchdown, a team must go down the field 100 yards. Carolina Panthers are on the 34-yard line. How much farther do they need to go to score a touchdown? Figure out what it is that you are counting and write an answer sentence. What could be my answer sentence, Aiden? Okay, they need blank more yards. Remember, there's what I'm counting. To get a touchdown. If you have some version of this, that's cool. You don't have to have exactly what I have, but you need an answer sentence. Next step is what? It's not tricky. Ashlyn? Bar model. Draw a bar model. Always start with our whole. Hunter, what is it that I'm counting again?
Yards.
Yards. Do I know the total amount of yards that they need to go?
Yes. No.
No? Yes? Reread that problem. Do I know the total amount of yards they have to go? What do you think, Hunter?
100.
They have to go 100. They have to go 100 yards. So my total is 100. That is how far they have to go. What else do I know? What else do I know? Dorian, what else do I know?
That they ran.
Awesome. So I know one part is going to be 34. That's how far they've already gone. Do I know how far they have to go?
Yes.
No, I don't know how far they need to go. That's my answer sentence. They need blank more yards. What kind of an equation now can I make with this kind of bar model? Mason?
Blank plus 34 100.
Awesome. Can I create another type of equation? Kylie, what do you think? Thanks, part whole. Sure, I can rearrange it. That is allowed through the commutative property. With addition, we can rearrange our factors. Aiden, can I come with another equation? Awesome. We're going to stop here. Alright, so if I'm going to start at 34 and count on to 100, I'm going to skip count by tens first. So 34, skip counting by tens would be 44. What comes next?
54, 64, 74, 84, 94.
That, because if I do another 10, I'm going to be over 100. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So my answer is going to be 60 something. I was at 94. That's where I stopped skip counting. Let's count on by ones to get from 94 to 100. Ready? 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. That is the difference of 6. So now I have 60 plus 6. I can do that easy peasy in my head. So my missing part is 66. They need 66 more yards. Alright, so on our benchmark tomorrow and on every single word problem, I should see answer sentence, bar model, equation, math every single time. Does that make sense? Yes. Ashlyn, what's